Record. Hello, deep soul divers. This is Carmen Turner Schott. Welcome. I am excited to be here for a monthly astrology forecast that we're going to start here on the channel. And I'm excited to be here with Caroline Lynch. She's a UK astrologer, and Merlin, who's also a UK astrologer. And they're some friends of mine that I met many years ago, and we've decided to do a monthly astrology update for you guys, just to give you different perspectives on the energy that's going on in the world for 2025. And so we're going to start with just talking, guys, about this Pluto in Aquarius for good that's going to be there, let's see, till March 8, 2043, about 20 years, and kind of share
Yeah.
with each other in the audience, what are some key things they need to be aware of, with this major shift in energy, and we're kind of in a new cycle, in the world.
Mm.
So what do you think? What do you guys think about it, Caroline? What do you think about it?
Well, I'd say we're already seeing elements of it, I guess, with this explosion of AI. It's
Yeah.
very technological, isn't it? And it's doing the thing, it's transforming the way we live our lives and the future that's coming. And Aquarius, of course, is all about the technological, the
Yeah.
sort of remote elements with life. I guess, I suppose if we're looking more Pluto and Aquarius, I think the elements with certain aspects of politics, it's all heating up a bit. It feels quite charged, and that would be apt because Aquarius is all to do with humanitarian
Yeah.
concerns.
Yeah.
The I guess the brotherhood sense. It's that sense, isn't it, of community.
Yeah.
And with
Mm.
Pluto there, we are really highlighting transformations in how we connect with one another and how we view one another as a humanity, as a collective.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing changes already in terms of quite, I would say, quite dichotomized political
Oh, yeah.
aspects going on. There's lots of talk to do with things that we never, if you went back 10 years, 20 years, just thinking of the way that we are often now, things are being more engineered to think of things like gender identity and things like that, which is a little bit, it's taking our human selves and I guess removing it from that, because Aquarius is very removed, isn't it, from
Yeah.
Disconnected, yeah.
yeah, so we're thinking about things in a more theoretical,
Yeah.
Mm.
technological sort of sense.
That makes
Mm.
sense.
Whether you go
Yeah.
with that, whether you don't go with that, whether you have strong views in this direction, that direction, it's interesting that those are the aspects that are
Yeah.
kind of evolving.
What do you think about this this age of they used to say the age of Aquarius,
Yeah.
the technology revolution, political revolution,
Hmm.
some of the things that happened the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was
Mm.
1768 to 1798. It was a long time ago, guys.
Yeah, it was.
And what was going on then was American Revolution, French Revolution,
Yeah.
the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah,
new
Yeah, a lot.
inventions,
Hmm.
and we're seeing that,
The
like,
banking system.
yeah, bank, all of
Yeah.
this. So
so
what other
Yeah.
things
yeah,
were going on back then you think are showing up in the news today? Some similar themes I think are going on with AI, like you said, and
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And the collective consciousness as well. Everybody's connected, aren't they? Like we are now.
yeah,
You
this is
mm,
can talk to people in different countries, whether
yeah,
it's on your phone or a gadget or laptop. So the borders, there's a lack of political borders in some respects,
yes,
which is
true.
probably going to continue
everything
over
is
the next 20
becoming
odd years.
so much more technological now, isn't it? I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's been for decades, but
Yeah.
particularly just now, it's like we've now reached this kind of pinnacle point where it's becoming very rare
Yeah.
to, like, our things like our banking, going to the bank and things, it's becoming rarer and rarer or harder to go and just
Yeah.
simply do that. I don't know what it's like in the
Mm.
States, how
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
varying, but all our high street banks are kind of like reducing, and
Oh, yeah.
everything is becoming online.
Pay online, pay with your phone.
Yeah.
You can't
And
even.
it makes us vulnerable because here over this weekend, since Friday, there's a bank here that's had, well, people have had trouble getting into their accounts online.
Oh,
Some
no.
people haven't been paid, and there was an interview of a woman who's trying to transfer money for a mortgage,
Oh, no.
and she couldn't do it on Friday, so she's effectively homeless. She had to wait until
Oh.
Monday to sort it out, and she had all the furniture in the removal van outside the house, but she couldn't offload it because they hadn't transferred the money over.
Oh, I tell you, it's kind of scary because
It is scary.
I
Yeah.
don't, it's like a cashless system is kind of where
Yeah.
we're going in this
Mm.
Bitcoin and also like just the other day, I was you have to pay this stuff online or on your phone. You can't
Yeah.
pay cash anymore. And I never have cash. That's another weird thing because it's like
No.
you don't need everyone's card or debit or out of the bank. And so I was having to go through something with my husband, send him the code for this. Then it wasn't working. He couldn't get into the bank. Then we're doing this. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot imagine being older. Like my grandfather
Mm.
was 89 years
Mm.
old and trying to figure out all this technology. Like
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
I'm good at computers and technology and I'm having trouble. And it's like,
Well, I heard a few weeks ago, I heard a story about a man in his late 70s, and he was having difficulty because he usually paid his bills and did things manually via the bank or the post office. But where he lives in a rural area, they closed. So he'd have to go to the nearest town, but he wasn't able to do that. So his option was to do things online, which he wasn't able to do. So the social workers had him put into a care home
oh,
because on the grounds he couldn't look after himself. But
oh,
if the things were open, he could easily walk to them
Yeah.
or cycle to them.
No.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
The
yeah,
computer says no.
Mm.
it's just getting to be, I think it's going to become even more like that. Like when
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I told you guys a story before, but even just a year or so ago when we went out to eat at this restaurant, the lady said, okay, just stay here a minute and you'll be seated. And this robot thing rolls up. And I'm like, and
Yeah.
I'm in like rural
Uh,
Illinois, like I'm not in a big
uh,
like New York or anything. And I'm like, what the heck? And we follow this robot's rolling us to the booth.
yeah.
We sit down and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And my husband's like, what is going on? And then this waitress, a real waitress, real person came, said, I'm gonna take your order, but it'll be out soon. The robot brought the food out. It's sitting on there and we
Yeah.
take it off and then it knows that we got
Uh,
it and it goes back to the kitchen. And I'm like,
oh,
this is the first time I've ever seen like that. And it was like low tech probably compared to the robots that they actually have, for
yeah.
hearing. And, in the news, I was reading something about how they're looking at having, robots as pilots. So that way
Oh,
in
yeah.
battle stuff, because then, you don't lose,
Mm.
real life because there's a
Well,
pilot ship in the world.
it's already being done with drones, isn't it? With flying
Mhm.
drones, they're flying robots, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the movie
Cars is-
Element
yeah.
with Bruce Willis. We're gonna have like flying
Mm.
cars and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
You push the button and your food comes out, like the Flintstones. I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of crazy to think where we're going to be
Mm.
this Pluto and Aquarius for the next 20 years. I mean, it's really the thing I'm looking forward to. I mean, I think everyone's kind of afraid of because Pluto is change, it's destruction, it's cataclysmic transformation, rebirth, but it's also healing.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
side of Pluto. It heals you, it helps you grow.
Yeah.
And I hope that they find some cures for illnesses that are like cancer and Alzheimer's, and I'm hoping they find some medical
Mm.
Mm.
technologies
Well,
that
there
will.
was something on the news the other day where there had some research about sickle cell anemia, which a lot of people suffer from, and they've discovered a way to switch off a gene in a person's body,
Wow,
which sorts out the sickle cell anemia, and it's something that's been trialed at the moment. But if it
wow,
works, that'd be great.
that would be
Yeah,
great. That's what I'm hoping.
yeah,
So I think I
mm,
think we're all kind of feeling this Pluto energy. The end of January. Well, Pluto was close to the
mm,
sun, right? Because the sun was in Aquarius there.
yeah,
everybody was writing me, Carmen, what's going on? People that don't even believe astrology, people that I work with are like,
Yeah.
I feel awful. Like, what? I said, just hang in there. It'll get better. My daughter even texted me. She was really struggling. And I said, let me look at your chart.
Mm.
Pulled her chart up and, oh, yeah, it was a bunch of stuff she had going on, but Pluto on the sun. So, everyone just felt this unsettled energy.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that Mars is retrograde and it's gone back in the sign of Cancer, but it was opposite Pluto as it was going from Leo into Cancer, and then it's going to go back again. So that's all that unsettlement. It coincided with certain things that were going on around the world. So we're probably that's going to be affecting things, isn't it?
That's quite a battle one, isn't it? Mars opposite Pluto.
Yeah.
It's conflict and
the Scorpio energy, isn't it? Yeah.
How can we give tips? What are some tips for the people listening on how to handle this energy going on, that energy of Mars? And
hang in, be patient, don't make any rash decisions. Hang on.
Yeah.
Bide your time, see what happens.
Don't react to be impulsive. Wait. No, you're scared. Fear. Pluto is fear and Mars is impulsiveness. So
yeah, it's like being on a roller coaster, isn't it? You can't get off.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for when that opposition is actually. So it's going to take a little while because obviously for it to go back to the position it was in, Mars. But we're sort of talking late April, I think, looking at this, that the opposition happens again. But yeah, I mean, it's that irritability and sense of urgency that Mars can bring. And then I guess some frustration with the powers that be in one way or another as to what you can actually do, as to what change you can bring about, and riding that out a little bit. And I'm just looking forward. I mean, when Mars does move on from that, which seems to be about May, so I think by then things might feel a little bit more flowing.
It's going to be a couple months then that people are going to be feeling this.
Because the tension, I guess, is building up when that opposition comes in. And we'll probably see that with conflicting things in the world and people trying to assert themselves quite forcefully.
Yes. So what do you guys think about the plane crashes that were going on the end of January here, right? I mean, really right before Feb now. I mean, we're just Feb 2nd.
Well, I suppose that the retrograde Mars could have a role in that, couldn't it? Because it's opposite those planets. Not directly now, but there's connections with Saturn and Uranus as well. So it probably did have an effect. And then, of course, we do have Uranus was retrograde, wasn't it? I'm just looking now. It's not retrograde now.
Yeah, I'm just looking back to
Jupiter in Gemini. So communication problems, isn't it? Really is. Something wasn't quite right.
Jupiter was retrograde and it goes direct on February 4th. That's interesting.
It's in Germany.
And being an air sign, I guess, as well is as some say.
And it's big, isn't it? Because it rules aircraft, doesn't it? Jupiter is a big.
So what else do you see? What else you guys see?
I just thought Uranus is now going direct. But I guess those crashes happened just while
when it
was retrograde. And I suppose Uranus has some link to aviation, doesn't it? And also being in Taurus. It's in its, have I got this right, detriment. It's either detriment or fall, isn't it? Uranus and Taurus. And so
it doesn't like being
there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I think it's going to be interesting.
Air and earth.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot. I feel like 2025 is a lot of intense is coming for everyone. And I think
the other thing as well, when that happened, Pisces was Moon was in Pisces, where we got Saturn and Neptune. It happened over water.
Yeah, the water thing. I was wondering. And
the confusion, I suppose.
Confusion, disillusionment, and like fogginess, like not seeing things clearly, and what's really
Yeah.
on, what happened, because it has been a long time
Yes.
since anything like this has happened. And on
Yeah,
that,
it has. Yes.
yeah,
20 about 29 years, I think, last time something
yeah,
like that happened in the US. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
it's
long time.
pretty crazy. And then, February, when we look at February, so we have Venus entering Aries and
Yes.
the planet of harmony. What do you guys think what's going to happen with Venus and Aries that
Oh,
happens?
everybody fall in love. There'll be free love like the hippies in the 1960s
Yeah,
and 70s.
I guess it makes us a bit more impulsive, or a bit more,
Yeah.
we really want to just go out and get what we like and love, and
Passionate.
a bit more. Yeah, and I guess Valentine's Day coming
Yeah.
up as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's a good
Yes.
energy for Venus to be in this month because, it makes you romantic. Aries are known to be romantic and bold and,
Yeah.
tell you how they
Yeah.
feel.
Confident, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, very,
Impulsive.
yeah, impulsive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So be careful, I guess, out there, guys. If
Yeah.
be careful about maybe running off and getting married in Vegas, or wait maybe till Venus
Yeah. Gretna Green.
gets out of Aries. You're thinking more practical, right? But you're going to be feeling that boldness, I think, and expressive. I feel like
Yes.
Venuses are very Aries are affectionate. They like
Mm-hmm.
physical intimacy.
Yeah. Fire signs, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like telling you how they feel, so you could be more, bold about telling someone that you love them, or maybe that you do want to be,
Mm.
or you could just
Yeah.
end a relationship too. Aries can get bored easy and kind of cut ties and move on, and so there could be some breakups,
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Well,
month.
yeah, and the other side of Venus, isn't it, is sort of self-indulgence. So if they're in a
Mm.
difficult mood, so they might be looking forward to something, it doesn't happen. So they go on a date, it doesn't happen, or don't turn up. So then they go home and start eating lots of ice cream, or go on a
Yeah,
shopping spree because
yeah,
of the Venus thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Venus in Aries. Although it's in
Mm.
its detriment, so it can make people a little bit
yeah.
unaware of
True.
perhaps those around them. So that kind of
Mm.
me first attitude can come in with it.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So what do
Yes.
you think about Jupiter going direct on February 4th? What do you think about? Is that, I know right before a planet goes retrograde and right when it goes direct, there's usually something
Mm.
that happens that we see in the world,
Yeah,
TV
we
news.
do.
What do you think
Yeah.
with Jupiter direct?
Mm.
Communication.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Going to
yeah,
be
we've got the Gemini,
affected.
the fact this,
Yeah.
and particularly that Jupiter is legal or publishing, or
Yes.
higher mind and more learned
Mm.
studies, and then
Mm.
Gemini is the sort of more basic communicative principle. So there could be something to do with publishing the news, the opinions,
Mm.
or
Mm.
I'm sounding a bit vague, but something in that.
Well,
Could it be
yeah, yeah,
legal battles,
It could
lawsuits?
be
yeah.
legal,
Well, what comes
international.
to my mind is to do with trade wars and things,
Yeah.
because it's merchanting, isn't it?
Mm.
Gemini and Mercury is about merchants. So
Oh,
Jupiter,
yeah,
global merchants. So I think we'll hear
Yeah.
more in the news about trade and what's coming about,
Yeah.
that's
that
true.
kind of thing.
There's a lot of with the tariffs and the things like that. And then
Yeah.
Jupiter being, positive and, generosity and abundance, or creating over and over amount.
Mm.
Or if,
Yeah.
some
Yes.
positive, maybe I'm hoping happens when Jupiter goes direct. There's
Yes. Yes.
negotiation, right? And things
Yeah.
get
I
better.
would hope so. Yeah. I'd hope so. I mean,
Yes.
isn't Jupiter in Gemini? That's also in its detriment, isn't it? Because its ruler is Sagittarius. It rules Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
however, I still quite like Jupiter in Gemini, probably because it
Mm.
goes on my ascendant, and so I quite like it. Just a personal thing.
You could be lucky.
Yes.
But I think they do blend quite well anyway, because they both relate to some degree to the mind. So I think that there'll be accelerations in terms of talking about matters, of making rules and policies and rethinking things, going back to the drawing board with ideas and philosophies and plans on things. It could be quite active mentally in that sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's hopeful. I think I like that. So you know, a lot of folks know that the nodes of the moon change signs in January. I think it was January 11th to Pisces and Virgo, which is a new pattern too. And it looks like Neptune's going to be conjuncting the node on February 7th. Neptune in Pisces conjunct the North Node Pisces. So what do you guys think will kind of be the energy of that? I think it's going to be interesting. Stuff with water, maybe
That
with
will, wouldn't it? Yeah, and
ships and
with I think and I think with people as well, like some kind of change, metamorphosis, catastrophe, I suppose, from their own world, you know, their lifestyle. People having to adapt and evolve and change things in a dramatic kind of way, which could be a karmic thing as well, couldn't it? Could be to do with their own karma.
Emotions.
Yeah, it's going to be
emotional.
Yeah, emotions. Yeah, yes.
And I think the fact that it's so close to Neptune there, which rules Pisces, just accentuates the Piscean theme, which can have myriad effects. But I would guess being aware also of people's vulnerabilities as well. It's like we're being called to look at where people do find themselves down on their luck or outside of the mainstream of things, you know, that sort of Pisces escapism, problems and things like that. So being more
underclasses.
Being more aware.
Feeling like a victim, maybe too. You think feeling like a victim of circumstance, like
a lot of that. Yeah.
That's the negative side of Pisces, you know, feeling like
it can be the victim, can't the Cinderella?
Yeah. And
Like
it's interesting, isn't it, Carmen? You know quite a bit about that dichotomy of the nodal axis. So you've got the south node, which is more about, and I guess we're looking at it societally, so where collectively where we've been, I guess the Virgo side of it, and now we're coming into this Pisces. So I'm wondering, how would that
we had order and now we have disorder.
That's
I don't know.
Yes.
You know, orders
like, it's a bit like everybody's jumping off the ship into the water. There's the life raft.
Because Virgo's like control, routine, efficiency. They want to know what's going to happen. They're an earth sign, you know. I'm a Virgo sun. And then Pisces to me are more like, let's have faith. Whatever happens is meant to be. Virgo's like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And like I say, even more with Neptune there, you know, it's joining Neptune to begin with. So very much. It's like that undoing, isn't it? It's all kind of just unraveling. And but then that's quite interesting, because that it's only when you unravel that you can find out a better way to come back together, you know.
Put it all back again,
Maybe it'll kind of get people, you know, Neptune with spirituality and a connection to a higher power and consciousness. And maybe it'll kind of open up people to their soul missions, like what they're really work they're really meant to do, you know, because Virgo's work rules the sixth house. Maybe it's going to change where people realize they weren't really fulfilled in the work they were doing. And it makes major changes for self-care, taking care of their health, you know, things like that. Also mental health.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking as well with Pisces involved in the 12th house, institutions and things like the tax office, for example, or the banking system. So there could be some kind of revolution with regards to that. I mean, there is. And I mean, here in the UK, there's things going on with the tax system. And so the farmers have been protesting because they changed the tax laws on inheritance tax, for example, and across Europe as well. There's things going on. So I suppose how we're taxed or how the taxing system works globally will probably change over the next 20 odd years.
Wow. There's a lot. That's amazing. So February 12th, we got a full moon in Leo. And,
Oh,
on a Leo full moon, I think, well, any full moon, it makes us, heightens our emotions. But
yeah,
right,
be romantic in Leo.
yeah, romantic, right before
Yeah,
Valentine's Day, that might be a good full moon in Leo, because Leos
yeah,
love and romance and love affairs and
drama.
drama.
Yeah,
Yeah. They like to tell people how they feel, playful,
yeah, yeah.
So that could help you, get in the romantic mood, guys, for
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's. Yeah.
And also, Venus will be conjunct the North Node around that
Oh,
time, still
oh,
just about. So
wow.
again,
Mm.
it makes that the focal point, doesn't it? It makes us that bit more Valentine ready. Yeah.
Yes.
Like love.
Yeah.
I want my soulmate. Where's my
Yeah.
soulmate? Pisces likes
Yeah.
having a soulmate. And then
Mm.
Mercury, guess what? Mercury into Pisces on Valentine's Day. So we're gonna be
Oh.
thinking about,
Poems, songs.
yeah, yeah, expressing our love and or our
Yeah.
heartbreak, whatever one it is.
Yeah. Flowers and chocolates. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Letting people
Yes.
music, listen, music,
Yeah.
art.
Creativity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
imagination, and then of
Mm.
course, the sun's going to be moving into Pisces this month around the 18th here. And so we're going to have a lot of Pisces
Mm.
energy going on, guys. And
Yes, yes.
how's it going to
What
affect you?
also
What do you think?
what also comes to mind, I was listening to a program on the radio today about um, streaming music online, which lots of people do nowadays. But
Sure.
apparently, there's a scam going on where money's been filtered out, siphoned off by scammers from the music streaming platforms, and
Oh,
people are purchasing it, but the money isn't going to the artists apparently, and
oh,
it's hundreds of thousands of pounds. And I'm just thinking with regards to Pisces aspect, and of course you've got these retrograde aspects as well.
yeah.
And of course, Mercury being in Pisces at the moment, it's in Aquarius, but that could also have an effect on scams that we hear about
Mm.
on the rise, as it were, because there's a lot of stuff like that going on, isn't there?
And
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
I
Sorry, go on.
well, I
Yeah.
was just going to say,
Scary.
somebody told me they put $10,000 into a cryptocurrency over Christmas, and it disappeared, and their wife was very unhappy about it.
Oh no.
It's that kind of thing, isn't it? You just got to be
Uh-oh.
so careful when you're
Like
putting
when
your
Yeah.
money.
like
Yeah.
deception.
Yeah.
The
Yes, deception. Yeah.
deception and all that pipe.
Selling the dream. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
be gullible. You might be
And
very overly trusting about things.
Yeah.
yes, and appealing to people's greed, perhaps.
Yeah,
And actually, where
Mm.
you say that, Merlin, about money, because Venus is
yeah,
Yeah.
conjunct
Yeah.
Neptune.
Mm. Yeah.
Actually, I've got that wrong. That's currently.
Yes, it's
Because we
current.
were looking
Yeah.
more Valentine's,
yeah,
but right now
Mm.
Venus is
Mm.
conjunct Neptune, so that would be something to
Mm.
look out for in terms of money as well, because it's Venus.
Yes. Yes.
So
a lot
Yeah.
of
Be careful.
yeah,
Mm.
Pisces energy, guys. Which what comes to me is Pisces with the 12th house energy is having boundaries and protecting your energy, protecting your mental health, protecting your emotions.
Mm.
Things might feel scattered and uneasy and unsettling. So make sure you take care of yourself and, meditate,
Mm.
do some yoga, go walk, get outdoors, cuddle with your pets, whatever brings you comfort to really ground
Mm.
your energy. Cause I feel like Pisces energy is so like mystical and like, otherworldly, you could feel like you're
Yeah.
in a dream world
Mm.
and hard to get
Mm.
that grounded feeling, that stability. So
mm,
I've been having
Yes.
to do that already. We're here on the 2nd of Feb right now, but I've been feeling, wow, like I need to really ground my energy and get centered and not, react. Don't let your nervous system react to every single thing you see on the news or, what's going on in the world, because there's a lot going on, and don't let it unsettle you
Mm.
and panic, and get too sucked into that, which I think with all that Pisces, um, people are kind of more vulnerable, more sensitive to what's going on in the world, um,
Yeah.
emotionally, with that water, all that water
Yes.
on, and
Yeah.
and then there's two main things that I wanted to cover, and then we can kind of wrap up and share some insights. But It looks like
Mhm.
Mars is going to be going direct February
Yes.
3rd. That's going to be interesting.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about that?
Healing. Time for healing.
I like that.
Because being in the moon sign, then it'll be sort of nurturing, won't it? As it goes forward, it's like the child that's had the tantrum and comes back down and apologizes.
Yeah.
So it'd be people making up, people finding the focus, and I suppose announcements, things that have been done recently will be changed. So there could be U-turns, for example. So people would say, "Oh well, we won't do that," because people realizing the consequences of something. So there could be a clarification on what can and can't be done from the point of view of the benefit of the family. And of course, the family could be a global family or a country, couldn't it?
Sure.
So
That makes
that.
sense. I like that. That's
Yeah, I
hopeful
like that.
for the end of the month. That's a good hopeful energy for
Mm.
the end of the month there.
What do you reckon, Caroline?
Well, I guess that just by virtue of the fact that it's going direct, I think if there's been indecision about what to do with one's life, been aware of a few people that are in a bit of a flux with that in terms of their energy and direction. Going direct, as it will do, will it gives a bit of surety, doesn't it, and confidence in going forward. And it is better placed for starting new things as well when Mars is direct rather than retrograde. Being in Cancer, I keep mentioning detriments and falls and things like that. It's in its fall, isn't it? Yeah. In Mars, in Mars in Cancer. So
yeah,
again, it's not. We're a little bit sensitive. We're a little bit aware of our vulnerabilities and having them flared up a bit.
Yeah.
But we've probably gone through a bit of time of feeling disheveled with that, and now we're ready to kind of face the world again a bit more. So I think that would speak to that. Let's see how. I mean, it's going to take its time, and it's got a little while in. We've got till sort of like mid to late April, about the 19th. It goes in Leo. But I guess that would be a time from when it goes to direct until then to feel more confident about the steps we take, because Cancer already likes to take sideways steps anyway. But and then when it's retrograde, I think we're really like, what's going on, and what, things are attacking me, or things are not working out, so we can feel a bit more secure about the world and our place in it.
That's
I
good.
think
Yes.
going direct.
Finding a focus.
Yeah.
And we did mention, didn't we, the opposition of Mars and Pluto.
We did, and Pluto.
Because I'm just looking at it now in April.
Yeah. Is that going to be kind of going at the end of the month as well? Yeah.
But I guess that we'll be more ready for that kind of energy when we get to that time, because of the retrograde, and then being in Cancer, and then it moves into Leo, and so we're a bit more ready to face some challenges that ultimately will bring some results.
I like
that makes sense.
It's like Mars to me, it's like your gut instinct.
It's a bit like a bit like a strategic withdrawal, isn't it? You go back and gather your forces and then have another go.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
We're kind of coming back energized, and I think it's important to trust your intuition for any kind of changes you're doing. Like maybe our intuition will be more on point once Mars goes direct.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, that does. Yeah, definitely. Because I guess really, and I'm just kind of looking back to see when Mars did go retrograde to join. I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't.
I forgot to. When was it?
It was a while back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. It's been
see if I can find it.
And also the degree that because it was actually in Leo when it started to do that.
Yeah, it went back from Leo.
So we're looking sort of December.
Yeah.
December the 6th.
Yeah, about that sort of time.
December the 6th, 6 degrees, 10 minutes Leo.
Yeah.
Mm.
So interesting for people that have planetary positions in that
Yes.
in that part of the sky as well. Early degree
Yeah.
Leos or
Yeah.
Leo placements.
Yeah. So
Maybe
they'll be
that's
having a turbo boost as it goes direct.
Yeah, I think once it goes direct and it reaches that point again, which what would that be, about May, I think. That's more, I can get on with things now. Perhaps been feeling a bit held back.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I
The
love
Leo.
it. I love it when planets direct
makes sense.
retrograde. I think Mercury retrograde gets me the most. So and that's coming up in March. So we'll talk about that next forecast. But
yeah, well, I mean, it's good overall, isn't it? But if the person has a retrograde planet, they can actually do well when a planet is retrograde.
that's true.
So bear that in mind, listeners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feel at home. You'll feel at home maybe when it's retrograde. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Some people tell me, "Oh, I don't feel any different," during Mercury, and then I look and there's retrograde in their birth chart. I was like,
yeah.
That's
Same
right.
for me, actually. I'm Mercury retrograde.
Are you? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Me too.
Are you too, Mercury?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I am too. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be the lone wolf over here complaining about it.
I'm just thinking
something I've observed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
Something I've observed over the years was people with retrograde Mercury tend to have either dyslexia or a left-handedness or something where they have difficulty with processing something like reading or mathematics or something. But they tend to be very good at what they do because they have to overcome the obstacle.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Yeah. Just an observation. Sorry, Caroline.
It's good.
Oh, well, just I'm just thinking for Aries as well, it will be helpful. Anyone with Aries placements, Mars going direct.
Oh, yeah.
And also the fact that Venus is also in Aries, it gives that boost. So that's February, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Scorpio, perhaps.
And Scorpio, by tradition. Scorpio planet as well.
So the last thing let's talk about, and then we'll kind of wrap up this forecast for this month, is we got on February 27, we have the new moon, and it's Pisces. Again, more Pisces energy. So like with the new moon, guys that are new to astrology or whatever, it's a time to set intentions and really you can, tap into manifestation. There's a lot of new moon manifestation circles out there that you can learn about and learn how to, where
play
is
the guitar.
Yeah. Where's that?
Learn how to play a musical instrument.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, seeing what area of life, in your transit chart that the new moon's in can kind of, give you some tips too on how you're, maybe what area of life should, you could focus on, doing something new there. So yeah, what do you guys think about this new moon in Pisces and here at the end of the month and just all this energy? Pisces is strong this month, guys, it seems like.
It is a Pisces month, isn't it? Especially towards the end of the month. Well, it's going to be a dreamy time. We'll just looking to see what exactly the degrees. So we're kind of talking what, the 27th?
Yeah, the 27th.
Might be, 27th, 28th. And
I think it's 9 degrees. Is it 9 degrees?
Yeah.
And so Pisces, what comes to me just intuitively is like, I think you could feel more tired and a little more drained, like want to sleep more.
Yeah.
I think rest.
Yeah.
Because it's sleep and dreams. Pisces real sleep and dreams and the unconscious.
That's it. And of course, because Mercury is there too, and the North Node and Neptune, and they're a little bit of, and Saturn. So you've got a bit of a stellium going on there in Pisces. So that absolutely, you're right, because then when you get that new moon in Pisces too, it's going to be a bit overkill. So you will just want to sort of disengage in some way, go into the realm of other, just
the dream state kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because Mercury and Saturn will be conjunct as well in Pisces. So there could be a dilemma of communication, couldn't there, with Saturn there?
Yeah, that makes sense. A
It
lot.
could slow things down because
Yeah, slow things
sorry,
down.
Yeah.
Saturn.
Saturn will tend to do
Yeah.
that. Mercury likes to be light-footed and whiz around, and then you've got Saturn, which is very serious and dedicated.
Yep.
And the two combination
Yep.
together, that could give that fatigue as well, really, couldn't it? Because it's one thing's trying to do one thing, the other is just no slow stay.
Yeah.
Plus, it's in Pisces, which could create confusion.
Yeah.
So people are trying to do things, and then they slow down, and then there's oh, hang on a minute, no, we should have done it that way. Yeah. So there's strangeness going on, isn't there? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be. I guess before we wrap up, what's a tip you would give the listeners about this month at the end of the month? Some tips.
Well, just off the back of what we've just mentioned, I think particularly more to the end of the month is being aware of that slightly lowered energy and maybe feeling a bit unsure, confused. I feel very much like just ride with it. The new moon energy is kind of bringing you into a new cycle, and it is a time to go a little bit inward anyway. And just be aware that you might not feel completely all guns blazing around that time. And that's okay, because at that particular point, that probably wouldn't be the time. But I think after that new moon, you will feel more replenishment. I mean, obviously, eventually those planets some of them anyway, will be moving into Aries.
Yeah.
But it isn't a time to kind of push things too much. But prior to that, just talking more immediately, I guess we've got a bit more going on. Although not a lot, actually. We've got a bit of Aquarius. It is quite a Pisces month. But we've got that, we've got Mercury in Aquarius at the moment. And we've got Venus in Aries. So it's I guess the next week or so is a bit more about being a bit more dynamic and moving around more and getting things sorted. And just towards the end of the month, it might feel a bit more, okay, just wind down a bit. Although caveat within that is the fact that Mars in Cancer will be going direct. So even though you might not be able to feel like you're doing all you can towards the end of the month, I think a lot of things will be setting in motion in quite a productive way anyway. Okay. I think it's quite a switch over month, with that in that.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
What's your tip for the listeners before we wrap up, Merlin?
Well, I would suggest, I mean, similar to Caroline, I agree with her. And also, it is a question of sort of stepping back and taking stock of what you have. And all the stuff that's going to be going or has been going on, probably will still continue in certain ways, is to try not to get sucked up in it. Just try to think about what you have as opposed to what you're losing. And then thinking about what you can do, a contingency plan, and other options, other directions you can go in. And the other thing I mentioned as well, we just entered the year of the wood snake in Chinese astrology since last Wednesday on the new moon. So we're now in another year, and the flow of the wood snake is going to be much more smoother than last year. Last year was a bit like climbing a mountain with jagged edges. This year it'll be like entering a forest. And you'll be able to enjoy nature and climb trees and have choices. So it'll be a different kind of year compared to last year. So all that's happening could be forcing you to make choices. So bear that in mind.
That's perfect. Well, guys, this has been wonderful. Caroline Lynch and Merlin, they're here with me. They're UK astrologers. In the notes, I'll put how you can reach them and all of our websites and information. And we will be back in March to do the March update, and we look forward to seeing you then. See you guys soon.
Take care. Ta-ta.